Okay, so the episode 10 trailer is out. And honestly, the first few seconds of this trailer hit different. Like straight up, the red sky, the lightning, the chaos. For a second, it genuinely gave me Stranger Things vibes. Vecna is in Fromville. Just kidding. But seriously, that opening shot of the red sky with lightning cracking through it felt like the show just went full horror mode and said, okay, no more slow building. This is it. Everything is happening right now. And before we go deeper, two spoiler warnings. First, if you have not watched up to episode 9 of From Season 4, stop this video right now, go catch up, then come back. Second, this is a full trailer breakdown for episode 10, so if you want to go into the finale completely blind, this is your last chance to turn back. We are going through every single shot of this trailer, and nothing is getting held back. Also, quick thing, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are covering every episode of From Season 4 all the way through the finale, and we are also covering House of the Dragon Season 3, which just started. So hit that subscribe button and the bell so you never miss a video. Okay, let's get into this trailer. So the very first thing we see is Boyd, Ellis, Randall, and Fatima standing outside the clinic, all of them looking up at the sky. And the sky is full of these bright red flashes of lightning. Now right away, there are two things wrong with this picture. First, Boyd, Ellis, and Randall were supposed to be at the dig site, so why are they at the clinic? Something pulled them away. And the most likely answer is that someone got hurt while uprooting the bottle tree. Look at Boyd's shirt. There are marks on it that were not there when the episode started. I think that is blood. Someone took damage during the tree removal, and they had to run to the clinic for supplies, or to grab Marielle, who was supposed to be watching Fatima. Which brings me to the second thing wrong with this picture. Fatima is standing on her own 2 feet. And if you remember where we left her at the end of episode 9, that should surprise you. Her hair was falling out. The black veins were spreading across her stomach. Christy basically said it was impossible she was still alive. So how is she just standing outside looking at the sky like a normal person? My best guess is that her transformation happens in waves. There are moments where her body stabilizes just enough for her to function. And this is probably one of those moments right before the next wave hits and she collapses again. Because this show does not just let people get better, not without a cost. Now that red lightning, that is new. We have never seen this in Fromville before. But here is what it reminds me of. The storm at the end of Season 1. Remember that? The sky went dark, the rain came down hard, and it felt like the township itself was reacting to the residents getting too close to answers. Jim had supposedly made contact with someone outside the township and boom, everything went sideways. And now, here we are again. Jade and Tabitha are in the tunnels with the children's bones. The bottle tree is being ripped out of the ground. The talismans are breaking down, and the sky turns red. This is not a coincidence. This is the township reacting. Or maybe more accurately, this is whoever controls the township reacting. Because I genuinely believe the red lightning is not a natural weather event. It is a response. A system trying to correct itself when too many of its rules get broken at once. And right now, the residents are breaking every rule at the same time. And here is where my loop theory comes in. Because in the background of the very first shot, you can hear Sophia's voice clearly. She says, "The end." It gets very messy at the end. And that line sitting on top of that red sky gave me chills. Because think about what the end actually means in this show. Remember how every single person arrived in the township? They were driving. They hit a fallen tree in the road. That fallen tree is what stopped them. That fallen tree is what started all of this. What if the bottle tree falling is not the end of the loop? What if it is the beginning of the next one? What if pulling that tree out of the ground is literally how the next group of people gets trapped? Like a snake eating its own tail. The tree falls, the road gets blocked, new people arrive confused and scared, and the whole cycle starts again with fresh victims and the man in yellow waiting patiently in his yellow shirt. And both the man in yellow and the boy in white warned them about this tree, two completely opposite forces, one evil one seemingly trying to help, both saying the same thing, do not touch that tree, and nobody listened. Jade and Tabitha are in the ground, and Boyd has the jeeps hooked up, ready to pull, and when Sophia says, "Now I light the match and watch it burn," she is not scared, she is not panicking, she is happy. Because this is exactly what she wanted. The residents think they are making progress. They think they are breaking the cycle, but they are actually completing it. This is why the man in yellow warned Tabitha, not out of kindness, out of strategy, because a confused, doubtful Tabitha who holds back and does not dig up those bones means the cycle does not complete. But a confident Tabitha who pushes forward and does everything the talisman told her to do, that is exactly the outcome Sophia is lighting matches for. The warning was the manipulation. Tabitha walking into the tunnels was the plan succeeding. Now look at what Jade says to Tabitha in the trailer. He tells her, "You need to finish this. You need to break the cycle. Your children deserve to go home." And look, Jade means every word of that. He genuinely believes they are breaking the cycle this time. But here's the thing. Every version of Jade and Tabitha across every previous cycle probably said something almost identical to each other at this exact point in the loop, right before the end, right when they were at their most certain and their most hopeful. The man in yellow told Tabitha she and Jade do very well this time. He said this time like he had watched them do it before and was grading their performance. And I think what Jade is saying to Tabitha right now in the trailer, that speech about breaking the cycle, is almost word for word what a previous version of them said the last time they got this far, and probably the time before that. Now the creature situation in this trailer is genuinely terrifying, and it confirms something I have been saying for a few episodes now. The talismans are not working anymore. We see a creature rip straight through the tarp that Jade and Tabitha used to protect the dig site. No hesitation, no burning hand, no bouncing off an invisible barrier, just rips it and walks in. And then we see Smiley walking directly into what looks like the clinic or a house, a building that should have a talisman protecting it, and he just walks in like the door was never there. Now there are two possible explanations for this. The first is that removing the bones and uprooting the bottle tree broke whatever system was keeping the talismans active. Like the bones in the tree were anchor points for the protection system, and the moment you remove them, the protection collapses. Which would mean every single home and building in the township just became vulnerable at the same time. Every talisman on every door is now just a piece of wood. The second explanation is that someone let Smiley in, left the door open deliberately. And if that is true, and this is the one that worries me more, then there is someone in the township right now who is actively working against the residents from the inside. Clara is the obvious candidate after everything that happened in episode 9. But the show gave us that Sophia door-opening moment without confirming it, and I think they left it ambiguous on purpose. Now Ethan. Poor Ethan is inside Colony House with Donna and Julie, and they are all looking at the sky, and then suddenly Ethan starts screaming, "We are all going to die here." And I want to stop and think about what this actually means coming from Ethan specifically. Because Ethan has been tracking the truth of this place more accurately than most of the adults around him all season. He is the one who figured out that the Jim he met at the lake was probably not actually Jim. He is the one who has been quietly preparing himself for the worst, while the adults around him kept hoping for the best. So when Ethan says we are all going to die here, is that a breakdown? Or is that a vision? Is he seeing something that the adults cannot see yet? Because remember, Ethan asked Victor to teach him how to survive when everyone around him dies. He has been mentally preparing for this exact moment for a while. And Victor surviving alone across all those previous cycles was not an accident. Victor was protected for a reason we still do not fully understand. Is Ethan being set up as the next Victor, the one who survives while everyone else falls? Because if the season ends with Ethan alone in the township, the same way Victor was alone after his original group died, that is one of the most devastating things this show could do. Then there's the scene between Acosta and Boyd at the post office. And this one is quietly one of the heaviest moments in the trailer. Acosta is basically telling Boyd not to give up. And Boyd, the man who has been carrying this township on his back since season 1, the man who has never fully broken no matter how many things went wrong, is asking Acosta what the next step even is. He does not have a plan B. He told Christy that directly. The plan was the dig. The plan was the tree. And if those two things are already falling apart, which based on everything the trailer is showing us they definitely are, Boyd is out of ideas. And a Boyd without a plan is more terrifying in this show than any creature we have seen so far. And then there is Victor, still locked in his cell. And suddenly the whole cell starts shaking, an earthquake. Which is another first for this show. We have never had an earthquake in Fromville before. Now the question is whether this is a real seismic event, which in a town that runs on supernatural rules feels possible, or whether this is something happening inside Victor's mind specifically. Because we do not see anyone else reacting to the same shaking. And Victor has the longest history with this town of anyone alive. If the township is doing something catastrophic to itself right now, if pulling the tree is genuinely breaking the containment system or resetting the loop, Victor might be feeling it in a way nobody else can. Like a person who has been in a place long enough to feel it breathe can also feel it break. And then Sophia. We see her in the diner doing something off-screen. We do not see exactly what, but the energy of it is deeply unsettling. And then she says it. Looking at someone off-screen, calm as anything, I'm gonna light the match and watch it burn. And I want you to sit with that line for a second, because Sophia has been teasing this since the very beginning of Season 4. She has been telling everyone who would listen that the end is coming and she is going to enjoy it. But now with 2 episodes worth of setup behind us and the finale 1 week away, that line does not feel like a taunt anymore. It feels like a countdown. Like someone who has been waiting a very long time for a specific moment and can finally feel it arriving. And look, there is no sign of Elgin anywhere in this trailer. Not a single frame. And after what happened between him and Sophia in episode 9, after he showed her that old photo and she confirmed she can take the form of anyone who died in the township, Elgin knowing that truth and being alone with Clara is about as dangerous a situation as this show has ever put a character in. Either Elgin is already dead, or he is going to show up in the finale in a way that either saves everything or destroys it. And the show not showing him in the trailer at all feels very deliberate. Now I have to talk about the title one more time before we finish. If a tree falls in the forest. It is the abbreviated version of that old philosophical question. If a tree falls in a forest and nobody is around to hear it, does it make a sound? And in the context of this show, I think the title is doing something really specific. The residents of Fromville have been trapped in a pocket universe that is completely cut off from the real world. Nobody out there knows they exist. Nobody knows what they have been through. Nobody knows what they have sacrificed. If the bottle tree falls and everything goes wrong and everyone dies, does it matter? Did any of it make a sound? Did any of it count? That is the tragedy this title is hinting at. But, and this is the optimistic reading, maybe the subversion is exactly what the title is setting up. Maybe the show wants you to expect the worst. Wants you to walk into the finale convinced the residents are going to die and the man in yellow is going to win again. And then it pulls the floor out from under that expectation. Because the bones are in the trailer prominently. And those bones matter. Those children matter. And whatever those children actually are, whether they are innocent victims or something more complicated and dangerous, their presence in the story right now feels like the wild card that nobody, not even the man in yellow, fully knows how to account for. The finale airs June 28th, 1 hour and 30 minutes. The longest episode this show has ever done. And I genuinely do not think one episode wraps everything up cleanly. I think we get a major shift, something that changes the rules of the township permanently, but the full mythology, the lake of tears, the ghost in the kitchen, the full truth about what the children are, that is seasons worth of story still to come. But whatever happens on June 28th, this channel is going to cover every second of it. Finale breakdown drops the moment it airs. Subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss it. See you on the other side of that tree.